Happy Hump Day. It's November 15th, 16th, one of the two. I have my good friend Matty Betts on with me. Matty, how's it going? We haven't done a show together in so long.
It's going great. I'm ready for the Eagles this weekend.
Yeah.
We got a big revenge game Sunday night.
I know. We're gonna get right into smash or pass. Let's see if producer Ryan has a bumper.
Smash or pass.
Oh, I like that one, right? Well done. All right, smash or pass. We're gonna jump
Pass.
it twice. I don't know what's going on there, but smash or pass. Philadelphia +2.5 at Kansas City. Going to Arrowhead, Super Bowl rematch. Both these teams off a bye. What do you think?
We're smashing, and we don't even need the 2.5 points. Give me the money line +120.
Are you
Revenge game for Jalen Hurts. He's going to say all the right things, like this game is just another game, but we know it's not. This is a win for the Eagles.
Are the Eagles going to the Super Bowl this year?
I think we're going to defy the odds and go back. I know how hard it is to get back, but I think it's going to be a Super Bowl rematch. I don't see anyone stopping the Chiefs. They're not as explosive as they once were, but I like the Chiefs' defense. I think it's really, really good, really underrated. So I think it's going to be a Super Bowl rematch, bias aside.
Yeah, Chiefs' defense is very underrated. And I think going into the season, even myself, I did not expect it to impress the way that they have. I think they're really good at making in-game adjustments, and a lot of teams aren't able to do that. But Spags is able to do that kind of on a fly, which is helping them. What would stop the Eagles from getting the Super Bowl? Like, is there a weakness to this team?
Yeah, I think our back end, our secondary, and stopping the big plays and the plays through the air. I think my buddy told me in fantasy football we're the worst defense in the league against receivers right now. So that's obviously a challenge, but I think that if we can keep offenses on the sideline, move the chains, run the ball, and be smart, like I think we need to run the ball a hell of a lot more than what we do.
Yeah.
Truthfully, like I love seeing Jalen throw the ball, but like if we run the ball and we're getting 4, 5, 6 yards of carry, like it's really, really hard to stop us because then you got AJ and Devontae, and it's just really hard to stop us. So I think if we do those things, we can kind of hide some of those weaknesses. But it's the NFL. There's no teams that are perfect. Every team has its weakness. And I think like the Chiefs, for example, they're not nearly as explosive as they used to be. And
No.
I think this year especially they're missing Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a luxury to be like going into week 11 and be like, oh, we could clean this up and still have the record that you do. So very jealous. The NFC East is not a fun place to be if you're in a rebuild. The Commanders and the Giants, it's not fun. The Cowboys and the Eagles are just light years ahead. It's going to take years before I think we see some competitive football in the division. We'll get to the next smash or pass. Minnesota is going to Denver. People are very high on Denver. I have my hesitations, but smash or pass, Denver -2, which has moved a little bit here.
It's in Denver.
I know.
I'm going to pass on this one.
Yeah.
It's a tough spot because I actually think the Broncos have the ability to go on a run here the second half of the season. But I like what I'm seeing from Minnesota.
Yeah, I think that Flores kind of found a way. Like, if you look at it, the Minnesota D has actually looked really sharp in this winning streak that they're on here. It's kind of ironic that Justin Jefferson is not there while they're going on this streak. So they're still missing their best player, arguably one of the best players in the league, if not the best. Broncos defense also putting it together. So I kind of lean the under in this game, I think, because this should be more of a defensive battle. Nothing about the Broncos offense impresses me still. I'm not the biggest Russell Wilson fan. I think he's playing better than last year. Not really my guy, but I don't know if I'm buying into this quite yet. And that doesn't mean I'm buying into Dobbs either. But he's in a good situation. Like, you've got this above average receiving options. You've got an above average O-line. So I think staying away from this game is probably the better way to go. What do you think about the total there? It's 43.5.
Yeah, it's a tough number, but I lean the under as well. I think both quarterbacks, we're seeing them extend the play. And I actually think, we're going to see some running out of both of them, which will keep drives together, but also keep the clock moving. You're not going to see these huge explosive plays, just long drives, maybe that end in field goals. So I do like that under a little bit there. I'm actually big on Dobbs. So I was low on him early on, but from what I've seen recently, and then man, he's killing it on TikTok. He's got charisma. Like
I like it.
I think he's a future star, like from what I've seen the past couple of weeks. So I don't know that, we'll see how great I think it's going to take some time for him to put it all together, but I think Minnesota made this move for a reason, and I think they're on to something.
He's so fucking likable. It's not because he
Yeah.
doesn't come off, it's not in a cocky way, because I always
Right.
joke around like football is low-key his hobby. Like it's not even what he's this genius going to NASA in the off season. Like it's more of a hobby for him, but I think he plays with confidence, and the way that he's able to extend plays, he's also extremely athletic. I'm going to take his over rushing again this week, because when he can't figure it out, he just gets it done on his own. He's so slippery.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's going to be a fun game because both quarterbacks, like even Russell last week was running a ton.
Yeah.
And they said he lost 15 pounds in the offseason and he's more mobile again. And so it's going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, for me, it's like the likable quarterback versus the unlikable. I'm just not a Russ girl. I've never been a Russ girl. I'm sure he's a very nice guy. He just gives me the ick, something about it. It just rubs me the wrong way. Next one, smash or pass, going to the matchup tomorrow. Bengals, Ravens, under 46.
I'm going to say smash. Division game late in the season typically points to the under. You're giving me over that key number, like 46. Like, I think both these offenses are clicking well right now. So I think that's why you're getting like a 46 number versus like a 43 to 44. So I'm going to take that extra 2 points there and take the under. Ravens defense has been top 2 or 3 all season, pretty much every statistical measurement. So I like the under here. Bengals, Joe Burrow looks healthy, so it's a little scary there, but I think I think the Ravens are number one I'm pretty sure they're number one in the NFL at defending the explosive plays down the field. So I'm going to take the under in a division game here.
Yeah, I think this is going to end up being, you saw both of these defenses, which I'll talk about the Bengals D in a second, because it's really not as good as I think they've gotten a little lucky this year, because you take away those turnovers and they're like 31st in success rate. But I think that last week, both these defenses did not have great games. So I expected to bounce back for both of these teams. The Bengals are solid in the red zone, but you look at everything else and it's not as impressive as I think people realize. So two teams, let's see if you can guess. It shouldn't be hard. Two teams allow more trips to the red zone than the Cincinnati D this season. What are those two teams?
Oh man, I'm not good at this stuff.
It's all right. It's the two of the worst teams in the league.
Panthers?
No.
Giants?
Yep. And Arizona. So that one's a little bit tougher because I think they're creeping into, but still, regardless, like Bengals have some flaws there. I kind of lean the Ravens on this one. Are you going with the Ravens?
Yeah, so I like the 3.5 points. I think I just see this game coming down to like a Justin Tucker field goal where they don't cover, but they win. So I like the 3.5 points, but I won't be surprised if the Ravens cover either. Like I'm not confident one way or the other on this game. I would just lean the under.
Yeah, I'm with you. Do you have any other bets on that game, or are you how do you even see the AFC North playing out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the Ravens will be able to get it done and win the division. The Steelers, I don't know what to do with them. Like last week, I take the Packers as my dog of the week. And I really do believe the Packers could have won that game if they didn't miss that PAT. Because then you're now down 4 late in the game, going for a touchdown when in reality you would have only needed a field goal. It would have been, I think, a 20-20 game, would have gone to overtime. And then, I had a 50-50 shot at some plus money there. So I still liked my Packers pick as dog of the week last week, but they just weren't able to get it done. Mike Tomlin just finds ways to win games, but I still believe that the Steelers team is really bad compared to the Bengals and the Ravens here. So I think it's going to be Ravens-Bengals by the end of the season. I actually think the Steelers might tailor off here.
I know. What worries me, though, is I think they might have picked up that kind of Minnesota luck that they had last year. And every single week we want them to to show the team that they are, and then they don't, and they just go to the playoffs and get rocked, because I feel like we're probably trending down that path, which really sucks, because honestly, if they had a different quarterback, they really have just about everything that you need to be a team that can make a really strong playoff push. The next one is smash or pass going to the Steelers. So Steelers, Browns over 34. Deshaun is out, which is hilarious. Just abruptly shoulder broken, whatever the fuck happened. He's done. I would be surprised if I can already see it now. It's going to be like complications, career ending type ordeal, and then we'll never see him again. But where are you at? Smash or pass? Steelers, Browns over 34.
Yeah, so this number opened at like 38.5, I'm pretty sure it was. And then obviously with Deshaun, I think it dropped a point or two before the Deshaun news. And now it's even dropped a few more points. But this could be a scenario where the game goes over because the offenses are so bad, right? They're turning the ball over on their own side of the field. Chaos is happening, maybe a return punt because of bad field positioning. Like, I could actually see this game going over. And when that number, I'd love to see the historicals of like when a number is under 34, how many times that goes over, because that's a low number in the NFL. I mean, it can be 7-3 the whole game, and that game could still end up finding a way going over late. So I'm going to say this game goes over.
I feel like it's going to end up getting sloppy. I'm kind of with you there. And I think too, even the Browns, whoever they decide to start there, I think they already said that they're not going to start Walker, but the Steelers haven't been great against the run, and I think that they can get something going on the ground against this team. So I see this going over too. I'm kind of with you here. The next one is, and excited to hear your opinion on this game. I think people are very torn about both of these teams. So smash or pass, New York Jets, they're going to the Bills, Bills -7.
I'm on the Jets all day.
Okay.
I don't think the Bills should be a 7-point favorite against 95% of the teams in the NFL. I backed the Broncos last week, one of my favorite picks of the week. I can't take this Bills team serious as a 7-point favorite really against anyone. They've really had one impressive show out this year, and that was that Dolphins win. But like until I can see them actually run the ball consistently, not turn the ball over, you have to take 7 points and close your eyes in that type of game.
How many fucking years are we going to do this where we're like, if only the Bills could run the ball? Like, it's every single year we get to week 11. Like, I have to go back. I'm going to look at my notes from the past 2 years. And I swear to God, every time around this week, we say the same shit. If only they could run the ball. And then they try, and it doesn't, they kind of get something going, and then they just forget about it. But I think this Bills team, you're a Waller getting a flag and a Mike Evans catching the ball away from the Bills being 3-7. And I think that might be more the true identity of this team. Things seem like a mess. Ken Dorsey's gone. On Monday during the show, I was on Bills -7. That's kind of my lack of faith in Zach Wilson, because I think he is just horrific. But I'm a little torn now on this game. That game, it'll be interesting to watch, because I want to see if the Bills play down to their level.
Well, here's what I'll say. So recently out of Zach Wilson, if you watch like footage on him, he's now trying to simplify the game. If his first read isn't there, he's maybe going to a second read, or he's throwing the ball away. And I like that, because when you have a good team around you, you got a good defense, good run game, like you just can't screw it up if you're him. And I think recently he's tried to take that approach on. So I could see a world where the Jets defense gets after the Bills. Like, I really do. I think Jets money line is live here as a dog. And I think that 7 points is a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think this is kind of a dog week. There's quite a few that I like.
I need it. I need a dog week.
Yeah, I know. I was going to ask you, because how is it going this year? So if you like the people that don't know, you bet. Why don't you just tell them what you do with underdog?
Yeah. So I'll pull up the exact numbers, but basically the last couple of years in NFL and March Madness, I would essentially take the dog money line of every game the whole season, right? So March Madness, I would just do the tournament, the play-ins, and then the tournament through the Natty. NFL, I would do the season long. And then NFL 2 years ago, it crushed it. It was up like just under $2,000 for $100 bettors if you just blindly did it the whole season. Last year in the NFL, it crushed it the first half of the season, and then it did a nosedive the second half and ended up down money. Then I went back and looked at the results, and actually a same game parlay of dog money line in the under has been profitable the last 2 or 3 years. And I think it's 3 or 4 of the last 6 years in the NFL. So I was like, screw it. I'll do it. It's going to be fun content. It's going to be entertaining to do. So I'm blindly just doing $100 parlay. Or I present it as $100 parlay. I'm actually doing 250, but it's basically so everyone understands it. So everyone understands it, and it's easy to
Yeah.
read and understand. It's $100 a game, essentially. So we've been on a dry streak the last 3 weeks, down money 3 straight weeks. But on the season, it's up about $400 or $500. At the high point, it was up, I want to say, just over $1,000. So again, last week was bad because if it wasn't for Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football, it had a chance of going 0-16. So week 2, I went 0-16. So if you bet 100 a game, you were literally down $1,600. So it's a roller coaster ride. It's more of like a macro system play where you have to use bankroll management and you have to understand it's for fun and you think it's going to be profitable, but you never know. But yeah, I've been doing it as kind of an experimental thing for fun, and it's had some good weeks. It was up $700 in week 7, up over $400 in week 6, $500 in week 5. Week 1 was insane, up $1,186. I thought I was a genius.
I think it's going to be a good week. I think you're getting
Yeah.
a good one this week. I think week 11 is going to be a good one.
Yeah, I hope so. I need it because 3 straight weeks of losses. So we'll see.
Yeah, I can't wait to check in and see how it goes. All right, 2 more smasher passes. These are actually futures plays that are getting a little bit of chatter right now. So smasher pass, Stroud MVP 25-1.
I'm passing. I think he is an MVP candidate, but when all's said and done, I don't think the record's going to be strong enough for him to be the MVP. I think he'll finish as like a top 3 or 4, but it's hard to not like the number, at 25-1. But we actually talked about this on our show this week. But I just can't do it. I just think, I think like Jalen, Patrick, they're all at like 3-1 or so right now. I think it's going to end up being one of those 2 or one of the top quarterbacks in the league. But he will be a future MVP for sure.
Yes, I'm with you. This is kind of like be fucking for real. Like CJ Stroud is not winning MVP, and that doesn't mean he's not playing fantastic and he's not going to be an MVP. But let's just like be fucking serious. It's a little bit of a donation. I just don't foresee that happening. There's better ways that you can get into the futures market if you like you like the Texans, you like Stroud, like D'Amico to win Coach of the Year. There's other ways.
Texans to win the division.
Texans to win the division. What's that at right now? Do you know?
That's a good question, but I know preseason the Jags were minus 155 to win the division. And honestly, if you have a big future bet on them, I would look to take the Texans because I really do think they're going to make a run. It's going to come down to that head-to-head game in a couple weeks. But I think the Jags' schedule the rest of the season is a little bit more difficult than the Texans. And I actually like the Texans to make a run here. I think they're only 1 game behind.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Future is.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I have a bet on them. Why do I have it at? I think I bet them. They were like, I think I got it like 650, 750. I'd have to look up exactly what that number was when I placed the bet. But I just always felt like the Texans they have enough to win games, and they kind of proved in the offseason that they wanted to win now.
Yeah, they're plus 270 to win the AFC South. The Jags are minus 220. I like it at plus 270.
Me too. I'm with you. All right, last one here for Smasher Pass. Smasher Pass, our boy Joshua Dobbs, comeback player of the year, plus 650.
This one gets so much controversy because you get the argument that DeMar Hamlin is going to get it no matter what.
And
but like he's minus,
him.
I think he's like minus 105, I think it is right now, or even money or something like that, and people still want to bet it. I'll say smash. I'll take a stab at it. Who's in second right now? I can't remember.
I think Tua's up there. CMC is up there.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't think DeMar Hamlin's going to get it.
I think as well. But
I don't think DeMar Hamlin's going to get it because time heals everything. And by the end of the season, it's like, how much did he really play? It's a great story, and we're all obviously happy for him that he's able to recover. But like at the end of the day, you got all these guys that came back from injuries and had crazy good seasons.
Yeah.
So and not to mention, you probably have half the world that bet on DeMar Hamlin. They saw that line, they're like, no chance he doesn't get it. Whenever someone says no way, something doesn't happen, it never happens. So
yeah,
I think either Tua or Dobbs is a good take there.
Yeah, I think as the kind of like fairy dust settles on the Bills too, the further we get away from Hamlin kind of winning this, because soon the media attention is going to start coming off the Bills outside of talking about how they are not living up to hype. But we will get off this. We're going to jump into power bottoms here. I haven't seen that yet, so that is funny. Okay, power bottom. So these are basically teams outside the playoff picture or a lower seed that you think have value as far as playoff goes, or teams to watch. What teams come to mind?
Yeah, so the first one we talked about is the Houston Texans. They're 5-4, but if you look at their schedule, they play Arizona. You get the Tennessee Titans twice, Colts, Jets, Broncos, right? So I think it's going to come down to that Week 12 home game, which I think that's very important, right? You're playing Jacksonville at home there. This home team is going to rally behind CJ Stroud. You got an easy rest of the schedule for the most part. I like them to make the playoffs and win the division. So I'm going to go Houston Texans is my first one.
I like it. So this one's gross, and it kind of goes against everything how I felt preseason. I'm going to lose this futures bet on their win total here, but Tampa Bay, I think, is going to end up sneaking in when you look at their schedule the rest of the way. You know, they've got the 49ers, but after that, we're talking Colts, Panthers twice, Falcons, Green Bay, Jacksonville, Saints. And it's just too weak of a division. I think they're going to end up sneaking in, and you can still get value on that. It's plus 190 for them to make the playoffs. And I think, you know, I'm not going to call them a power bottom, but I think they're one of these teams right outside the playoff picture that probably end up sneaking in.
That's literally my second team.
Is it?
So the reason I love them is their defense. Number one in the NFL in red zone defense.
I love it.
Extremely efficient down there. 7th in the league in scoring defense. And then you nailed it. The Colts, Panthers twice, Saints. And people hate Baker Mayfield. I think he's a slightly above average guy. I think he's solid. I think he gets the job done. They got to get the run game going. They got to play defense, and Baker can't make dumb mistakes. But I'm with you. I'm a buy-in on that plus 190. I like it.
Yeah, I think it is a very – I like that bet. I placed it right before I got in the show. Do you have any other power bottoms that you're eyeing out here?
That's it. Just Texans and Bucks.
Me too. Yeah.
A lot of those other teams, I can't even – I was looking through the stand-ins getting ready for this show, and I was like, I can't even – some of these teams just have no chance.
Gross. It gets so gross, especially the NFC. It's absolutely disgusting. All right, we'll get into fake tops.
I'm the king of the world!
Fake tops.
Very funny. Okay, fake tops. So basically teams that have no business in the playoff picture, or they're kind of like a first matchup here exit. Who do you got right up? I'm sure the Steelers is on the list.
It should have been, but I'm gonna go with a bold one here, and I might have to take my Eagles hat off because everyone's gonna think this is biased. But the Dallas Cowboys, last 4 games of the season, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Miami, Detroit. If there's anything we know about the Cowboys is they always find a way to screw it up. So, and that's assuming they get past Seattle, right? Because it's Seattle, Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, Lions. That's not an easy 5 games to finish the season. So all I'm saying is they better win a few games before that stretch here. So I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys. I just feel like they're going to find a way to screw it up, even though Dak's been playing really well.
He has been playing well. CD looks absolutely awesome as well. I won't knock them for that. But you are right. And I think people didn't realize how hard their schedule got in the tail end. Eagles was kind of similar to that too. You guys still have who left? What's the rest of your schedule?
Yeah,
you still have. I think you knocked a few out of the way though, because you played. Did you play Miami already? Yes, you played Miami already.
Yeah.
Because we had all that. The Giants had all that shit in the beginning of the season, and it was awful.
Right. It was brutal. Yeah. So the Eagles have at Kansas City this week. Then we have Buffalo, Niners, Dallas, Seattle. But then the last 3 games is Giants, Cardinals, Giants.
God, what a blessing. What a nice way to go into the playoffs. You basically get 3 bye weeks there. Team I want to talk about and get your feelings on. Where are you at with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Because that's
my second team. Yeah. And it kind of aligns obviously with taking Houston as my team that'll go on a run here. But no, I mean, it was very, very eye-opening what we saw this past week, especially against, I mean, it was a good betting spot to take San Fran last week, right? Because they were struggling, a couple of losses, rattled off a few losses. But at the same time, everyone's been able to kind of move the ball on San Fran and score, and that's been their kind of their weakness, just like the
Yeah.
Eagles. So it was just eye opening there. So I think that Jacksonville, I think, is going to have a tough stretch. That's why I said, like, if you got, I actually have a buddy that put over 50 grand on Jacksonville minus 155 to win the division before the season started. And I texted him yesterday and I said, look, Houston right now, he's like, I don't ever hedge. And I was like, I get it. I don't really hedge either. But I was like, I actually think Houston's going to win the division. And I was like, it's not a bad look at plus 270, even if you wanted to protect your 50K and, throw 20 some thousand on it. But I just think you look at their schedule, they play the Titans, but after that Titans game, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Baltimore, Tampa, those are 4 elite defenses. Well, Cincinnati maybe not, but those are 4 pretty good defenses that you have to go up against. And after what we saw against San Francisco, like, I think they have their issues for sure.
And the thing is with the Titans is they're like an any given Sunday team. Like,
It's still a division game too.
Yeah, it's still, you never know what you're going to get, especially with Vrabel. I just think, like, with Jacksonville, the play calling has been abysmal. Trevor Lawrence is not playing very well this year by any means. So I think that Houston's going to end up taking this right from them. I don't think it's hype around Stroud. I think that team in general is just playing extremely well. I think D'Amico is onto something over there for sure.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
What about the Seattle Seahawks? Because they're more of a team where I think I like Seahawks fans. I think they're nice people. They don't bother me on Twitter. They're very respectful. But, like, the Seattle Seahawks are not making a playoff run in my picture, in, like, my head.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy to me that they're 6-3. I do think they've had some good luck. So week 2, you beat the Lions, but I'm pretty sure they turned the ball. They were my dog of the week that week, and I think they were like plus 300 or something. So
Yeah.
I felt I was lucky to win that bet. I think Detroit turned the ball over like 3 times. I think if they rematch Detroit, I think Detroit wins that game by double digits. And then you look at some of their other games, beat the Panthers by 10. And then that Ravens game, I fell for the trap in that game. They lost 37-3.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite plays of the week. I took Seattle in that spot, and the Ravens just completely destroyed them. So the rest of their schedule, at Los Angeles, but then San Francisco, you have a sandwich here where it's San Fran, Dallas, San Fran. Like, that's a rough 3-game stretch there. So you could, and then the Eagles after that. So let's say they win against Los Angeles, but then they could lose 4 in a row. Next thing you know, you're 7-7. You could legitimately 7-7 after week 15. So I'm with you. I don't know that they're going to, I know they're not going to make a playoff run, but I don't know if they're going to even make the playoffs if they don't.
Things could go sour pretty quick. And I think we're seeing what Geno did kind of last year too. It's like you get to halfway through the season and we're starting to see, like, the level of play start to go down a little bit with him.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think they're lucky.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I just think they're like their division, what are they? They're 6-3 in the division. San Fran 6-3 too.
I think it still comes down to that Thanksgiving game then, like, who would take over. But I mean, it would shock me if Seattle took over the division.
I agree. I don't think there's any chance of that.
Even
with them both being 6-3.
I don't foresee that happening. Any best bets for this week that we didn't get a chance to talk to, or anything that you like before I start wrapping up and letting you out of here?
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm on my birds this weekend. It's a biased pick.
Are you ever not on the birds? Now we have to talk.
All right, so here we go.
Talk.
Here we go.
Let me talk. Let's talk about it.
So I'll tell you right now. I took the Washington Commanders with the points against my Eagles. I bet a pretty decent sized wager on that earlier in the season. I typically don't bet my Eagles. Like, I either bet against them or in certain spots I do bet on them when I like them. I'm literally giving out the Eagles as a play on my card this weekend. I like them in the first half on the money line, or you get a plus 1.5 in the first half. I think that bet makes a ton of sense. It could be a tie game going into halftime, or they're winning. You still win that bet. And then I like them on the money line in the game. I also love Tampa Bay this weekend. I think 11.5 points is way too much. I think it's an overreaction due to the Niners beating down the Jags. I like the Jets +7. I think that's too many points. I think you nailed it. I think there's a lot of good dogs this week. Whether it's with the points or on the money line, I think there's a lot of good underdogs for sure.
Yeah, I even honestly, and I think I saw it moved to 9.5, but I gave it out on Monday. Like, I like the Giants plus 10 just because of the way these teams always play each other. And I think this could go any direction. And it seems like it's a little bit too many points with the way that the Commanders have played, the way that they play the Giants. The Giants defense is playing awesome. It has nothing to do with the Giants defense. It's just the offense is a disaster. So if they're able to bring pressure and get Sam Howell to act like Sam Howell when he gets a lot of pressure, then I think that they'll have no issue covering that number, actually, which I know I'm not excited about it. Like, if this fucking team fucks up and they win this game, I'm going to be pissed. But I think they do end up covering that spread.
Yeah, that's a tough one. On my show, I actually end up leaning Washington in that game, but it's a division game and it's tough. But you're right there. The Giants defense has played decent and pretty well all season.
Yeah.
It's just more about the situations they put their defense in with the lack of offense and turnovers and all of that. One more dog I like Arizona plus the 4.5 this week. I think it's a very ugly pick, but the ugly ones are the ones that hit. Houston is like the hot team right now that you can fade. I think if you look at this, if the look ahead line on this preseason, Arizona may have even been favored or close to a pick-up, right? Rookie quarterback with the Houston Texans, Kyler Murray is playing. That look ahead line is probably a pick-em in this game. I don't know what exactly it is, but Kyler Murray comes back last week. I think the rust is going to be gone now. His second game back. They're getting 4.5. I think this game's going to come down to like a last-minute score or field goal. So I like the 4.5 there. A lot of good dogs.
Like these Texan games always come down to like the very last second, and they're very high scoring as well. I don't know what I forget what the total. That total is moved for sure because I know I didn't get at that. It's sitting at 47.5, and I still kind of like the over, which is crazy.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. I think you're going to see both quarterbacks show out in this game, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right. Let everyone know where they can find you because you do great stuff. One of like the first people when I started like going on TikTok, I found you on there and we've been friends since. But you guys put out such great work.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, just Matty Betss, Matty Betss, 2 S's because some random schmuck had Matty Betts handle and I just went with it. So 2 S's there. I'm everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, that's it. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube are the main 5.
I'll let you get out of here. You are the best. Have to get you back on soon. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me.
Right. See ya.
See ya.
I'm so excited that my internet works. Are we so happy?
Oh my gosh. It was so clear and working the whole time.
Shit. No one said shit in the chat. And I was hoping the chat would be like, oh my God, Steph, look, your internet is working.
Yes, but you know what? They didn't complain either when it wasn't working. So good on our fans for not being dicks overall.
Yeah.
But
before we get into I'm going to run through like really quickly a couple Thursday night football bets I like. Did you see the Mahomes lucky underwear story yet?
I did. Yeah.
So for those of you that didn't, so basically, why am I forgetting her name? Taylor Swift's best friend, Brittany. Bought Patrick.
You remembered her. You remembered her as Taylor Swift's best friend, not Patrick Mahomes' wife.
Just being an asshole. That's all. So she bought him a pair of red underwear, apparently for like their anniversary or something. Long story short, he wears the same pair of underwear. They get washed. He clarified, which was very good. Like he made sure to say, I washed them, but he wears them to every single game. What I don't understand is that's not really lucky underwear. And I mentioned this on Twitter. Is it like boy math? Because it's not like he's won every game in them. So are they real? Like, I don't get the point. Is it just like a vibe thing or I don't get it?
I think, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question because when I started dating again, I wore the same socks every time, thinking they were my lucky socks. Did I get lucky every time? No. Was it always a good date? No. I think it's just like a thing in your head that you
it's like gambling.
Feel more confident. Yeah.
Yeah. Like right now, I'm hiding my hands for a reason. And then I promise you, I will give you guys Thursday night football bets. But so, I've been on a little bit of a heater, not to brag. Like I've been doing decent, knock on wood. I've been doing decent. But right before that,
your quadruple D's hit last week.
I know. And right before that started, I got my nails done. So I'm scared to get them done again, but the problem is we look like this now
Oh,
because
no.
I'm really nervous. I'm just nervous that if I get them done again, the streak is going to end. So ultimately, I'm just being really selfless, but I have to go after this video ends because I'm going to New York City for my friend's 30th. And if I show up like this, they're going to be like, oh my God, this poor girl lives in the Midwest. They won't do her nails. This is a disaster.
I love it. Thank you for being so selfless and giving us one more, round of picks before you get your nails done, because these are going to hit. So everybody make sure to bet these now.
Okay, so these are my Thursday night football bets. There's not a lot of them. I'll run through them really quick. We're obviously having.
Are these the trip? Are you doing triple D's here?
I could make it a triple D. We could make it a triple D. Let's see. All right, I'll make it.
We were talking about quadruple D's and then triple D's on the Monday and Thursday night.
Yeah,
so,
and I'll give some bonus ones too. Okay, dad bet. Keaton Mitchell. I couldn't wait. So this line is probably moved, and I apologize, but I had to save it for the show. Keaton Mitchell, longest rush, over 12.5, minus 120. I'm okay with you taking this up to 14. He hit the last two games, the two games he played, longest rushes were 39 and 60. The Bengals last week to the Texans let Singletary get a 22-yard rush, Xavier Hutchinson a 17-yard rush, and Tank Dell a 13-yard rush. I could go back for weeks, but there's a little bit of a gap in this Bengals defense. And Keaton Mitchell is I love him. I'm obsessed with him. I think that 12.5 is very doable for him. Dud. I don't have an under, but I think an interception prop counts as a dud. Does it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We are going to have Burrow throw an interception, minus 110. He kind of gets into this little groove where he'll throw one for 2 games, not throw one. I think against this Baltimore defense, he throws one, minus 110. And dud, dumb fuck. We'll go dumb fuck. All right. Tanner Hudson, former New York Giant, over 1.5 receptions, plus 100. He's getting more involved. They tend to rotate these guys a little bit, but we're going to take it here over 1.5 receptions. He'll probably end up with 0. But 12 targets last 2 games for 10 receptions. They're getting him more involved. His receiving yards is already moving. I like that. I'm not ballsy enough to take the receiving yards, but wouldn't blame me if you did. So dad bet is Keaton Mitchell, longest rush, over 12.5 yards, minus 120. Most books have it at 13.5 right now. You got to shop around. The dud bet is Burrow to throw an interception, minus 110. And dumb fuck, we've got Tanner Hudson, over 1.5 receptions, plus 100. A couple little bonus bets for fun here. I also like Lamar to throw one. If you're in on Keaton Mitchell, I took him most rushing yards of the game, plus 420. I took him to take a touchdown. I took him 80 yards at plus 800. Kind of like it a lot here. And then as far as touchdowns go, Boyd to score. I know he dropped and everyone's very upset with him. I think he's going to get his mojo back. He's going to score a touchdown. Mark Andrews to score, and Lamar first touchdown. We don't usually get these long numbers, but I think he's sitting there at plus 800. So for a mobile quarterback, I like it.
Love it. All right, great. Well, we have a new graphic that I will fill out for your dad, dud, and dumb fuck that you will go ahead and tweet out.
I will.
Maybe later today. And so for anybody who missed it or needs to recap the dad, dud, and dumb fuck bets, triple D's. That's all we have. That's all we have today. We didn't get a lot of questions. So let's get out of here. We'll be back on Friday.
Yes.
Watch
See you guys.
break it